This program has been brought to you by Airtel, proud supporter of Africa's rising football stars.
Welcome to another episode of Airtel Football. Just like in every match, there has to be a score. This week, we turn the page on a land of 1,000 hills. A country which is synonymous with its breathtaking ambience. Despite its reservedness, it has made remarkable strides in football and registered achievements savored by opponents and proponents alike. Welcome to Rwanda. Renaissance is what best describes the nation's ability to rise from the scars left behind by the 1994 genocide. A country that has managed to move forward into the 21st century with aplomb in every facet. Flanked by Burundi to the south and Uganda to the north, the country, which has an estimated population of 10 million, has achieved economic growth over time and has become a hub for the service industry. From grass to grace, an act that certainly befits the players that chose to win the battle on the pitch and not against themselves. We sought to find out what makes the Amavubi tick and ask the best, what motivates Rwanda's national team and what drives them forward.
I think we must give the best structure in Rwanda to help the young players, especially when start 10 or 11, by opening many fields, by give the possibility to the young players, especially the players who are going at school, to play every week. It's one of the big problems here in Rwanda. Also, I think that what they do for the CECAFA is very important to help the under-17, under-20 team to prepare the qualification, because I'm looking that in West Africa, in North Africa now, they organize many tournaments for the youth, and they help this national team for the qualification for the CAN or for the Mexico, for the World Cup. So I hope that in the future we can open the door also with the youth in this kind of tournament, because it's very important.
The Junior Wasps put the country on the global map after they put up a brave fight to the Continental Championships to book a ticket to represent Africa in the FIFA Under-17s World Cup.
You know, during 10 years I stay with the first team, and in 2010 some guy from FIFA asked to me if I want to try something for the Rwanda, to help them to organize a tournament under 17 and perhaps to go in the World Cup. So it was very exciting, a challenge. I accept for 8 months, and now it's 2 years that I am in Kigali.
As for coach Richard Tardy, who has bestowed upon him the role of shaping up the junior players to climb up through the ranks to senior teams, he hailed the government and Farwafa support as the forces that create the upward movement of the performances.
You know, after we qualify the team for the World Cup, the Ministry of Sport was behind the team. He asked to help the team, the player, to prepare the World Cup. After the World Cup, we continue to work together, and we have a very big support from the ministry, also from the FERWAFA, because they are behind me from the beginning. And with all these components, we can do something for the future.
Rwanda sought to win their first CECAFA Challenge Cup outside Kigali last year. With a new coach who brought in new ideas and recharged fans who rallied behind them during their matches, the thirst for supremacy was highlighted. The troops were called to arms.
What to tell you, I belong to those people which they have been, football-wise, been born on CECAFA tournaments, because 12 years before I have come to East Africa. My first competition was CECAFA, and I'm emotionally connected with. So even this competition could not pass without my presence. All what I can tell you, and quality group of team competing on this CECAFA. On the end, to the luckiest, I want to call it, because there are so many good teams. We are in the final. Unfortunately, our team APR did not succeed to go to the final, despite with qualities and performances deserving to be there. So far, what I have seen and hugely improved quality of football comparing with 10 years before how it was. Is meaning I believe that CECAFA is going right direction, and thanks to leadership of CECAFA, Leodega Tenga, President, and General Secretary Nicolas Musonye, football in East Africa is going with steps of 7 miles towards bright football future.
But not everything went as expected. They tackled all the hurdles in their way, but 12 times champions, the Uganda Cranes, halted their ambition, coming from 2-0 down to force a draw and win 3-2 in the championship on post-match penalties. This was a heartbreaking moment for the Wasps, especially that they were favourites on paper.
I can tell you that this year Africa Cup of Nations has been very unfortunate for us, because in first round we got the powerhouse of African football, Nigeria, to play against, what is very hard, and they have already missed 2012 in the last minute. And all what I can tell you, it was very hard to pass towards them. We had 2 good matches, we missed our chances at home, and unfortunately we failed to progress because of losing in away match. In the World Cup qualifiers, we are in very tough group with third place Algeria, third place in Africa, with Mali, third place team on Africa Cup of Nations, and with Benin as a surprise package, which they have been on 5 out of 5 last Africa Cup of Nations, 3 times of Africa Cup of Nations. In that tough group, we are still in contention. We are looking forward and preparing ourselves for the continuation of World Cup qualifiers in 2013 in March. And in that note, we shall work very hard and play the friendly matches with nations out of CECAFA in order to prepare the team to be ready for the decisive matches in World Cup qualifiers for Brazil 2014.
Since then, the former Orlando Pirates coach has been viewed as a man that turned their fortunes, as he certainly has the resources and capable players at his disposal.
I want to tell you, with the generation which is coming, on whom we are relying, and this is our under-20 with whom we are proud. Mostly they are inside players which they have played on under-17 competition last year, and with other young players which we are having, plus players whom we are transferring to play professional football outside. This is our investment into the team, and we believe that once we are gelling the team to be together, because for every process you need time. We believe in our players, we believe in this project, and we believe that it will be good enough to achieve good results in World Cup qualifiers.
To Micho, Karake's decision to leave Sweden and return home, more so accept a pay cut, demonstrated his intention and to some extent what he stood for. Despite a dismal outing in the World Cup and African Cup of Nations qualifiers, Micho expects everything to fall into place now that they have corrected their mistakes.
For the many years we didn't, on FIFA dates which are designated for the friendly matches, we didn't play friendly matches. Now we shall use all possible means in order to play the friendly matches against recognized teams. Only in June we have played 6 matches against third place Algeria, 4th place Libya, 8th place Tunisia, and 10th place Nigeria. Is meaning we really wanted to test ourselves with the top nations on this continent in order to see where we are. Is meaning to see initial situation where we are, and from that initial situation where we are, to move our football towards the target which I have already mentioned, and that is by 2016 to put Rwandan football amongst top 10 in Africa.
When we return to Airtel football, lessons are taught at the Manchester United soccer clinics, and we speak to a Man U legend during a stopover in Africa. Stay where you are. Welcome back to Airtel Football. With the Airtel Africa Championships a resounding success and the soccer clinics completed, let's find out what these kids learnt under the tutelage of some of the best in the business.
This tournament, Airtel Rising Star, is important to me because they're helping girls like for us. Because here in Uganda, they be concerned to boys, they don't be concerned to girls. But Airtel they help girls. Now even girls, even us now, we are becoming very proud because of Airtel.
The Airtel Rising Stars tournament under 17 is a very good tournament to my career because it helps me do more about my CV because it will be helping me much more in the future.
I come from the family of 5. My parents and we are 3. 2 boys and I'm the only one that's a girl. So my parents, I told before that my mom is a trader and my dad is a businessman. So they encouraged me a lot. That's the reason why I was able to come here and play it, because some parents, they will not allow their children to leave because of the country, all the things that are happening in the country. So they encouraged me a lot and I love that.
So football has been helping me. It has been helping me even in my studies. Because we footballers nowadays, we don't like to go to school. But with this football, people encourage me that with my education, I can go far. With my education, I can stand. With my education, I can conquer any challenges. Because now people in football now, they try to combine education and sport together. That my education should be the first thing, while my football should now be my second aim, which I'm happy, which I'm doing, and I thank God I'm making progress through my football career.
It's been a very great experience knowing that I never really played with teams. I just usually played with the school team. So it's really exposed me to very different things as a football player.
My career, I'm thinking to play for English Premier League, to join some players like Marika and Victor Wanyama.
To play in Europe is per se my dream, to play in Europe, so that, because most of the Ghanaians over here always want to play in Europe, that will give you some potential and to play in the national team. I'm really determined to play, to represent this country, to play in the Black Stars.
Manchester United is my favorite team, yes. It's always been my dream to join that club. It's brilliant too. It's just, I can't even talk about it, it's so exciting.
There's always the dream to play on football's biggest stage, to become a household name, to play against and for the world's best, and where bigger than the English Premier League's Manchester United Football Club. A club steeped in history, a club that has produced some of the game's greatest legends like Robson, York, Cantona, Schmeichel and Beckham. And with more than 700 million fans globally, the Red Devils trophy cabinet boasts more silverware than any other club in English footballing history. This is a club that breeds perfection, success and loyalty. There is a saying at Manchester United, once a Red Devil, always a Red Devil. And one player has certainly epitomized that since his arrival at Old Trafford in July 2002. Rio Ferdinand arrived at Man U from Leeds for a record-breaking fee of around £30 million. He won the Premier League, his first major club honour, in a successful first season. And since then, the defender has simply never looked back. Manchester United through and through, Ferdinand typifies the lifelong mindset of stars that have stayed to play their last competitive match at this iconic club. We caught up with Manchester United's number 5 on the club's pre-season tour of South Africa, a country that he ranks as a favourite of the many he has visited.
From the places we've been on tour, I think it would be hard to pick out a favourite place. There's been so many good times that we've had. New York, the hustle and bustle, we were able to go out, especially all over America really, we were able to go out in a day and relax and be ourselves and just chill in the towns and the cities that we visited. So in that aspect it was refreshing to do that, and we could relax quite easily. Asia, just the craziness of the fans, in South Korea, in China, These places are just, the fans are just crazy, and you come out of the hotel, it's like the Beatles have hit town. It's mad. And in South Africa, we've had the atmosphere at the games and that are really, really good. You got the guys playing the drums and people dressing up and stuff, and so it's we've had good times all over the place, really.
Although for Rio and company, it is usually all work and very little play.
No, we don't really get to see much of the countries that we visit a lot of the time. South Africa, we've been to a few restaurants and had the odd team bonding night where we have a good meal together and stuff, but we haven't really got to go out too much into the areas that we've been visiting. So in that case, it's disappointing sometimes, but we're there on a professional basis, so we have to accept the time that we get to spend in places. But in China, in other countries, at times we've been for a bit longer periods, we get time to kind of get out and about. But the problem is in Asia that there's so many fans as well sometimes that it's difficult to kind of get out of the hotel without there being a big commotion, so it kind of stops that sometimes.
After all, this was the final preparation for what will be an arduous English and European campaign for the North English side. An exercise that is taken quite seriously by the players and coaching staff.
I think the tour in pre-season is vital for the squad, for the camaraderie of the squad, the fitness obviously, and just getting back into the feel of playing football on a regular basis after being off for like 4, 5, 6 weeks, some of the lads. So to go to the different countries that we're going to be visiting, seeing the fans that support us all throughout the year and being closer to them guys is fantastic. So it's a really important trip for me, and I think for the new signings as well, it's vital that they get to see the lads and mix with the lads and bond with the guys, with the team on this tour. And in the past, I think that's where a lot of the guys have felt part of the squad straight away. Last year, Ashley Young was a new player. Immediately we went on tour and he felt real part of the squad, and he got to know the lads a lot quicker than probably would have done if we just stayed here in England. So it is a vital part of our pre-season.
Just as long as he has a few essentials with him, of course.
I couldn't pick one thing I can't do without on tour. My phone, obviously, to bring back home and stuff and speak to people. My iPad for the movies and for the games and my music. And then someone has to bring an Xbox so we can play computer games.
A true inspiration for any rising star. Well, that's all the time we have for in this edition of Airtel Football. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
This program has been brought to you by Airtel, proud supporter of Africa's rising football stars.